Hi everyone, welcome to my cyberspace. In this video, I will talk about like SSRS and we'll talk about using the adventure works. Now let's get right into it. So first few things, we already opened SSRS via Visual Studio. And what I want to do is to first thing we need to add the data source. So we had the data source, so it's either click add new data source or add or new item. So what this does is you first of all click on data source, add, and so what's going to be, you could just call this, leave it at data source 1, just leave it as the way it is. And what's going to be the connection string? Remember that my database name is, my server name is, what's your server name? Click on database engine, copy this, and that's what we need to do. So I come here, right, and I click on build. So server name is this. If you have a lot of server, it's going to take a while, but because I'm using Adventure Work 2022, so what do I need to do? So I know I'm using Adventure Work 2022, so that's what I'm going to choose. I just come right here, click on this drop down, Adventure Works 2022, test connection. If this worked, then we are good to go. So we just click on OK and we click on OK. So we have our data sets, and that's that. So what we need to do is we need to add a report. I have this report existing here. I'm just going to delete it and don't want that. So I'll right click, I'll add a new item. So click on new item. I want to add a report now, so that's what I want to do, and I could leave it as report 1. Immediately you see that this sort of shows up things, right? So we have this right here. So you could also come here and click on add data source. The same thing, just you could build the same process. Most of the time it's just doing the same thing. Jjay insights, and we also choose 2022. So sometimes it takes a minute actually. So what I would normally just encourage is copy the database name, put it, paste it right there. Test connection, it's taking a minute. Server was not found, so that was because Jjay insights wasn't spelled correctly. So we see Jjay insight wasn't spelled correctly. I would usually encourage you to always just copy your server name. I mean, you might just make a typo error, so you don't want to do that. Let's come right here again. Now let's spell Jjay insight correctly. Now it shows me the database. So test connection, I'm good to go. Click on OK, and we just click on OK. So that's that. So wow, we need to add the data set. So I want to add the data set via a query. So what I would just do is I need to just copy this query. I know this is what I want to use. I want to use this one, select top 1000. So if I were you, instead of selecting top 1000, just do distinct, distinct, copy this, and we come right here. So I add a data source. So, but I want to give this a very descriptive name. So I'll call this demographics table. So data sets, add data sets, and it's going to use a shared data set in my report, use a shared data set. So data source, this is this, click on text, and let's say, okay, it says unable to connect to data source 1. Let's try to fix. A good number of time when you run into error, it's probably because your data source is wrong. So if you come your data source property, ensure that if you click on build, ensure that it's Windows authentication and not SQL Server authentication. So make sure that's Windows authentication, and just click on test connection again. So that's some of the things. It could change itself. So that's one way. Close this. Then we want to load in the data. So we click on data sets, add data sets, and use a data set embedded in my report. Click on data source 1 and just put in your query, and we want to call this data set demographic, right? So that's that. We load in demographic table. Then we also want to load in the other table. The other table we want to load in is the human resources table. So that's the employee table. So I'm just going to copy this. So you can load as multiple table data set you want, and you can even have more than one data source. So we copy this. So data source 1, we copy this right here, AdventureWorks 2022. So I could just change this also to distinct. So this follows like SQL query syntax, right? So and let's see if this works. So it does work. In case after you load data set you want to rename it, just going to come to dataset properties, and click on human resources. So human resources. So yeah, that's all about that. I could also load in another data source. So let me say I want to add a data source. Would call this data source 2. I'll build the same thing. Make sure you always copy your server. So you can have multiple data source, and I come here, put it right here. And so Windows authentication, make sure that's the right one. The database, I want to just load in the AdventureWorks 2012. Test connection is working. And that's that about that. So okay, you could name this, rename this also. Into dataset property, just say AdventureWorks 2012, right? So that's that about it. So let's now try to work on a report in itself for this. So what do we do to get a report for here, right here? So we come right here. So if you click on preview, it's just to load whatever reports. We don't have anything, so we're not going to see anything in our preview. So loading the data. So we want to right click and we'll insert. So we want to insert a table. So some of the things we see, if we try to drag this, see this is not going to work. If you try to drag this, we say it's giving us something else, but that's not what we want to do, because that might not be the easiest way to do it. So let's click on insert. So we want to insert a table. So what happens is we want to load this as a report in itself, right? Whatever we have here. So let's do this for the demographics. So we come right here, it asks us what data source we want to use. This is data source 1. This is a table, and we want to choose this demographic. We could also come here and see if this works. So same thing. Sometimes it could be stressful trying to drag everything. So when I click on this and I insert column to the right, insert column again to the right, insert column again to the right, and just gonna choose the next thing. So it automatically sees that okay, I'm in this table, avenues. So let me just choose number of employees, and I don't need to choose everything. And let me choose internet. So let me see what the report looks like for me preview. So we see right now it's showing me, and I could include an heading to try to say I could drag this down a little bit and include insert. I want to include a text box, right? Text box is, so this is called just say demographic table, and just drag it, expand. Yeah, most time it's best to drag from the left. You can bold this, just the same thing you can do to a normal text. There's so many things you could do to this. To preview, we'll see that, right? So that's one thing. Now I want to add like a second table, right? This for this one, for this human resources table. I could have, this is another table. I'll just click on insert a table, and the first thing it does is I also want to insert this human resources table. So the human resources table, They asked me what I want to do. So my resources, business entity ID. The next one automatically knows. So obviously not that. So title. So maybe you change something, the heading is not going to change. So that's fixed that. I'm going to choose start date. Just going to insert left, right. Just choose department. So not what I want. So insert. So start dates. Just choose department. Insert. And we choose something like group name. Let's see. Let's make it equal. Is that right? And we choose first name. This is not supposed to be the right order, but so if we see and we scroll to the next, we're going to see the order table. So you scroll, keep scrolling. So 23, it's a lot. So this is the second table. You notice that that one ended with a name, and this is the first. So we see it's different table. So that's that about that. So in the next video, we will talk about how to like add a filter to each of these tables, like, and how the filter works in interactive section. So see you in the next video. Bye.